8:38. We've appropriately or significantly set this up for success, or at least extra success. We start with 5 gems, and once we pick up this allowance, 47 coins, which means we can go to the bookshop if we can draft one and buy the final book that we haven't gotten yet, which is A New Clue. And I think that will be great because if we draft a library this time, which I know we will because it's a common room now, we're going to be able to read the Blackbridge book, Curse of the Blackbridge. And my hope upon hope is that we'll learn a little more about this Rhoda gentleman, or maybe get his last name. I don't think we'll see it in the checkout section of the library book stuff because we would have just purchased it, but maybe we'll see something. Who knows? I want to read. I'm curious about the Blackbird stuff because we finally got the combination of the furnace and the freezer, which led us to a little tiny server room in a closet. But there's still a section in the Baron's personal freezer that didn't thaw. And the reason that it didn't thaw, my theory, is because we didn't have a boiler room power connected to the furnace, because that would make the fire burn even hotter. I think it would make sense to me. So that's still kind of something that I have in the back of my mind, but the freezer's not gonna spawn this time because it's a 24-hour cooldown, so we don't have to worry about that. Will this be a classroom run? Let's do it. I wanna see what happens when we get to grade 8. If we can get to grade 8, that is. Let's start at the middle. Wow, start off with the library. Well, let's do it. Let's start off with the library for sure. And see what this Curse of the Blackbridge thing is. Also, whenever we spawn a pool now, we're gonna be able to go down there because we drained it. As long as we have keys or a sledgehammer, we'll be good. Nah, see, that's what I thought. It's just me. The Curse of the Blackbridge by Redford Ewing. Now let's see what we learn. Forward. The legend of Blackbridge is one that's well known to the people of the Grand Realm. 4 versions of this tale have been passed down from generation to generation. With each new telling, the story has changed, become over the years more colorful, more verbose, and, as one might expect, increasingly horrifying. However, with so many renditions and unique personal touches, the task of confining and binding this tale to text seemed an ambitious and impossible challenge. Over the course of my research, I have heard dozens of variations of the legend, and while the details would often change, I was surprised how much of the story's heart remained the same. Yet, the more I listened, the clearer it became that there could never be a definitive version of this tale capable of capturing all the wonder and myth of Blackbridge. In the end, I chose to write down what felt most authentic. The story my grandmother told me as a boy, long ago. Part 1. The Berry Picker from Oris. Many years ago, before peace had become a familiar word, there lived a group of rogues so wayward that the locals deemed it appropriate to call their number the Unholy Hounds. They were feral outlaws composed of society's worst in a time when society was at its worst, and for each crime that fearful travelers credited to the group, a dozen more lay unclaimed, each worse than the last. For the gentry, however, who often value their coffers more than their companions, no crime could measure more wicked than the group's primary enterprise: high road robbery. One such member of this so-called band of rogues was a boy of 13 years, Jesper, who had not been lucky in life, having lost 2 brothers to war and parents to famine. In the years of hunger that followed, Jesper lived in a gutter behind the churchyard, relying on the nourishment of scurrying bugs and weeds harvested from the cracks of the alleyway to sustain his pitiful existence. It is not surprising that a child aiming to escape such hardships would take any easy road out, an easy and well-traveled road paved with temptations, leading out of the city and into the gentrylands, where loose purse strings entwine with the strands of salvation and glisten equally with the hope of opportunity. It was this road that eventually led Jesper to the end of his youth, a hidden cave at the bottom of Blackbridge Canyon. It was here that he met his surrogate family and saviors, that notorious gang of godless outlaws known as the Unholy Hounds. Despite the hardened circumstances that had led him to this vocation of banditry, Jesper was surprisingly tender-hearted and was often teased by the group for being too kind for such an ignoble life. For this reason, Jesper was assigned the innocent role of berry picker. It was not just innocence that set berry picking apart from the gang's more wicked undertakings, for it was the only duty performed without the safety of the night's concealment. Jesper, no stranger to solitude, did not protest that he alone worked while the others slept soundly, tucked away in the cave at the bottom of Blackbridge Canyon. On one such occasion, Jesper decided to get an early start. He left the cave, berry basket in hand, and set out into the woods before the morning sun had even brushed against the tallest treetops. It was colder in the mornings, but the headway dawn afforded meant Jesper could reach the furthermost berry patches without worry of being chastised for tarrying upon his return. It took over 3 hours on foot to reach his destination, and along the way, Jesper had passed by many a familiar bush, all priorly pillaged and so bereft of berries that one would have to dedicate several moments in earnest examination before finding a single one. Jesper was patient, but even patience had its limits. He was confident that even accounting for the time lost to this long stretch of travel, his effort would be well worth the pains. Surveying the patches in this new grove surprised even Jesper. The red dots suspended among the leaves seemed as numerous as stars in the skies. Upon seeing such a bounteous sight, he clutched his berry basket tightly and nearly toppled over out of joy. Once he had regained his senses, Jesper quickly made a decision. He would not reveal the location of this newfound treasure. Instead, he would earn the respect of his confederates who, upon seeing his yield, might attribute the success to hard work. Smiling at his plan, Jesper set off to fill his basket and was making steady strides in this task when the sound of thundering hooves interrupted him.
A carriage is approaching.
The thought of it made Jesper freeze. Had he been so enchanted by his discovery that he had neglected to observe his surroundings? How could a roadway be so close? He ducked down and crept toward the impending sound, hiding behind one of the larger bushes nearby. It was only a moment more before the sound's source revealed itself. Within 50 paces of where Jesper hid, an elegant carriage with gold trim came soaring around the corner of trees, led by 2 beautiful white horses and conveyed by a stern-looking driver seated atop the vehicle, flaunting the most sophisticated regalia Jesper had ever seen. It was not just any carriage, it was a royal carriage. Even without ever having witnessed such a sight before, Jesper was certain. The sight had so transfixed Jesper that he stood awestruck, unable to tear away as the carriage approached. The little concealment the bush provided was soon proven unequal to the driver's lofty perch, and upon spotting the boy, he pulled the reins with such effect that the noble steed slid to a sudden halt with precise control.
"You boy, get out from behind that bush,"
he shouted with a rigidity that betrayed a modest amount of fear.
"You startled me half to death, coming round the bend of my own drive and me seeing such an unfamiliar face in a place where there ought to not be any face.
Jesper quickly contemplated running. The man was much older, and his dress was suitable for courtly behavior, not dashing through the bramble and mud.
I was picking berries.
Jesper raised the half-filled basket up to allow the driver to see the proof of his words. The demeanor of the man suddenly changed. It was a change that Jesper was familiar with. He had many times seen the same stern expressions on the most fiendish bandits melt away when presented with a berry basket. Any suspicions that the driver might have had instantly evaporated. For even the notion of a member of the unholy hounds picking berries seemed farcical. The softened expression even made allowances for a smile.
Berries, eh? Say, you couldn't have picked a better spot for them, could you? I used to pick berries here as a boy.
Jesper took his cue to finally step forward out from behind the bush, proudly brandishing his basket.
I know. And what luck I found them. I have only just begun picking, and look how many I have. It would have taken me fourfold the time back home to procure this number.
The driver bent down for a closer look.
And where is your home, boy? It must be quite far.
Jesper replied with a scripted response.
A little south of Tanner Fork, just past the burnt woods.
My God, that is far. You couldn't have come all that way only this morning.
It was true. Tanner Fork was in the exact opposite direction that Jesper had traveled. And while that response would seem perfectly reasonable in a location closer to Blackbirch Canyon, he could see why it might seem less believable here.
Sir, I have traveled much farther for much less profit. I dare say there is no distance yet made by man that would not be worth undertaking for a prize such as these. Surely, you have tasted them yourself?
Jesper felt happier with this response, as it seemed to amplify the man's smile.
In my youth, often, but perhaps I took it for granted because I never had to travel very far. And even then, my father would always drive us here, in our carriage, so I'm ashamed I never had to walk such a stretch to earn an equal reward.
It was Jesper's time to smile. Then let my efforts reward us both today. He raised the basket even higher. A taste in memory of your youth, sir. The driver chuckled and removed one glove, bending over the seat to reach down to the basket. And at the moment his fingers touched the first berry, the dagger, in turn, met his throat, cutting through a superficial layer of skin and drawing blood. Jesper caught the man's startled eyes.
And for that taste, I will have your purse, sir, in memory of my youth.
The driver's arm had gone stiff, his chin raised and trembling, more frightened than he had ever been before. Whether unable or incapable of speaking, he did not respond to the boy. Perhaps he did not think his jaw could afford to be engaged at this particular time. Jesper let the basket drop, freeing his other hand to probe the man's pockets.
Do not mistake me, sir. I will not kill you if you give me no cause, though I will admit, the thought of taking your carriage and leaving you the indignity of walking appeals to me.
Unable to find a purse in the man's coat, Jesper pivoted to search the seat under him.
Why have you no purse upon your person?
The driver slowly raised his hand cautiously, pointing toward the carriage door behind him. Jesper lowered the knife edge to a small degree to allow the man to speak, which he did in turn softly. There's a lockbox in the carriage.
Well, come down then and grant me the courtesy of sparing your life and binding your hands. A concession, I assure you, of my tender heart, for it would be much easier to slit your throat.
The man started to comply, slowly lowering himself from the driver's seat of the carriage. Once down, Jesper guided him away from the carriage to a nearby tree, where he instructed him to get on his knees and put his hands behind his back. Excusing his inexperience, the man indulged Jesper while he figured out how to adequately bind him. The smile of kindness Jesper had seen on the man's face, now nothing more than a distant memory. In their place, cold, dark eyes displaying no emotion.
I wonder, should I grant you the same clemency you are showing me?
Jesper stopped, surprised by the question, but ignored it, secured the final bindings, and then hastily returned to the carriage. With one hand on the door's handle, he turned back to the man.
If there is no lockbox, there will be no clemency.
Inside, the carriage was surprisingly dusty and unswept, a stark contrast to the elegant and polished golden facade of the exterior. It had apparently been many years since a passenger had enjoyed passage in this vehicle. This all but confirmed what Jesper has suspected. The driver of this carriage was not a liveried servant in the employ of some greater master. Any curiosity that this observation might have further produced was quickly abandoned upon seeing what rested under the carriage's back seat, a large wooden lockbox. Despite its hefty appearance, the box was surprisingly easy to handle. Within a few minutes, Jesper had dislodged it from his hold and carried it out into the sunlight. Inspecting the box carefully, 2 observations were made. Totemic symbols found carved on all 4 sides of the box hinted that the box was very old and likely not created by Arindian hands. It reminded him of artifacts from the old world and was presumably crafted in one of the ancient realms. Secondly, the box was secured by a rusted yet robust padlock and would not open easily without a key. Jesper looked over to see the driver quietly observing from his indentured position.
Do you perhaps have a key you can provide me to open this box?
Without emotion, the driver replied.
There is no key to that box.
Jesper stood up.
Easy enough then.
He headed over to a nearby rock of sizable dimensions and lifted a stone, carrying it back to the box. If there was ever a time when that lock had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. With one hit, the stone had completely shattered the rusted lock. He bent back down and opened the lid. Inside was an effigy, a crude figure chiseled from stone. Without too much deliberation, Jesper bent down and picked it up, somewhat surprised how heavy it had seemed, given how light the box had felt. Having expected to find something more akin to gold or gems, he looked questioningly to the man, hoping to find an explanation. The driver's smile had once again returned.
You are cursed, boy, for deadly is the stone. You have opened that which should never have been opened, and you are cursed.
Jesper carried the effigy over to the man and shoved it in front of his face.
What is it?
That's 1.
Feeling his disappointment rising to anger now, Jesper tightened his grip on the effigy.
1 what, you mumbling agenter? And in God's name, why have you no curse upon your person?
The man did not seem intimidated.
1 pace.
He paused for effect.
12 more, and you will be dead.
He only had a second to flinch before the effigy struck him in the head and put an end to his cryptic ramblings. If there was ever a time when the old man had been resistant to brute force, it wasn't recent. Jesper looked down at the sculpted stone figure, now splattered red. Was it cursed? Was he cursed? He had, of course, heard stories of curses and had never doubted their validity in the past. But now that he was standing face to face with the possibility of being cursed, his mind pleaded with him to be skeptical. And if he was cursed, what difference would the knowledge make? A dozen more paces would not be enough to find another living soul, to say nothing of the chances of procuring a remedy. If he did not move from where he now stood, he could live maybe another 3 or 4 days, maybe more given the abundance of nearby berries. A plan that, if we ignore its obvious faults, might provide additional opportunities for help to come along. But what good would that do, to be discovered here, beside a body, stolen goods in hand, bloated from berries, and raving about a curse that could very well not be real? No, it would most certainly be better to face one's fate now, take a dozen paces, and see if life goes on. But Jesper found his legs unable to make that first step. His mind was unable to convince his limb to waste away 1/12 of his life in a single motion. Feeling the desperation sink in, he hopelessly looked about him for a solution. And if by some stroke of luck the gods had heard his plea, a miracle materialized before him, as if he had found himself suddenly at the end of a fairy tale. 2 white horses and a carriage of golden trim were beside him, the answer to his immediate prayers. He laughed at his fortune and calculated the short number of paces back to the road. 4. Perhaps only 3 if he jumped. He made a quick survey to see if there was anything he wished to grab before taking the plunge. He thought about removing the driver's fancy coat, as that appeared to be of some value, but the additional risk of undertaking such a task too great a chance. And so, after a profound breath, he took his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th steps, though they were quite large. Seated now behind the horses, he reached for the reins and suddenly realized he was still gripping the effigy. If the curse was real, then it would most certainly be better left here. If, on the other hand, the story was fictitious, there might be some appraisal that could be made of the figure. It was, after all, found within a lockbox, whose typical function oft secures objects of value. Having witnessed firsthand the horrors of destitution, Jesper found his mind equally reluctant to allow his hand to let go.
If it is cursed, I die. If not today, then tomorrow, and if I die, what care have I?
And with that statement said aloud, to the horses seemingly, Jesper took up the reins with confidence. Part 2, Below the Black Bridge. Miller awoke to some light nudging from a familiar foot. Only one person would have the cheek to awaken her in such an ill-mannered fashion. Shaking the sleep from her eyes, she glared up at him in the darkness, but did not say a word. He nudged her again, teasingly, then stepped back into the dim. After taking a moment for her eyes to adjust to the darkness of the cave, Miller remembered. She was on 3rd watch today, quietly collecting her things and wits. Miller turned as she left, waving to her young friend, who was more than likely already asleep. She crept through the cavern's main entrance, careful not to wake the sleeping bandits around her. Like a hero in a book, she often mused. Quietly, she grabbed a bow from the haphazardly formed pile of weapons, shaking the accompanying quiver in the darkness to assess how many arrows it held. She then walked towards the sun-drenched mouth of the cavern, ready to start her shift. Above her, in one of the trees found in the canyon, Miller could see that Ravia was already posted. She waved, and Ravia waved back. Calling out to each other was strictly forbidden. Anything louder than a gesture in the canyon was forbidden. When Miller reached the tree, Ravia lowered a braided rope and pointed to the ground behind her. Miller turned, following the finger, and saw the pail of water resting beside a nearby log. She turned back to Ravia, nodded, and secured the pail to the rope. The pail went up first, and in turn, Miller followed. Ravia reached across to grab the water. Miller leaned back to give her space. There was not much room for maneuvering in this tree post, a necessary concession for the concealment the outpost demanded. Ravia tilted the pail up to her mouth dramatically, illustrating how thirsty she had been. Miller laughed silently as water poured out, splashing onto Ravia's face. It was a bit too daring and noisy of a joke, and had the others been around, they would have certainly been scolded for the unwarranted sound. But Miller appreciated the efforts Ravia took to verbalize the silence of the morning. They had been on 3rd watch together for over a month, and during that speechless time, their friendship had grown into something special. Affection was unsurprisingly scarce among the unholy hounds. She had felt camaraderie before, of course, but intimacy, never. From their elevated vantage, the girls could see both the concealed entrance of the cavern as well as the clear view of the bridge that spanned across the canyon. Black Bridge was the link between the Gentry lands and the northern mountains, the overpass that connected Orris and Reddington to the city-faring travelers of the realm. The bridge was an unavoidable crossing. In the day, the task was to ensure that travelers passed by without stopping. At night, the task was to ensure that they do. Like most of her band, Miller preferred the night. The biting glare of the sun might be tolerable to farmhands and bricklayers, but to a cavern house bandit, it was a source of constant annoyance. In the day, there was no shroud to conceal her expressions, nor to hide her thoughts. She felt exposed. Ravia touched her elbow and pointed up. Miller, striving to suppress a budding smile, suddenly shook her head in response. There were many signs that the unholy hounds used in lieu of words, but the two of them had developed an extended vocabulary, gestures quietly forged in the shared solitude of their month among the branches. She watched as Ravia shifted, placing her palms flat on the floorboards beneath them. Miller knew what she was trying to say, but shook her head a second time. It was often more fun to pretend not to understand. Ravia rolled her eyes and turned away. Looking back to the canyon, squinting through the leaves, the two girls held still, watching and listening. It was not long until Miller, too, heard the sounds of approach. Ravia held up two bent fingers, and a few moments later, two men emerged from the bridge's southern end. They were dressed in a familiar uniform, long gray coats with black facings, white waistcoats, and black tricorn hats. They belonged to the local patrol, the Black Guard. Although not an everyday occurrence, their presence at the Black Bridge wasn't an unusual sight. It typically indicated an important traveler's impending passage across the bridge, information that the girls would promptly relay to their leaders as soon as the coast was clear. But this report, while exciting, was rarely acted upon. In Miller's 5 years in the Unholy Hounds, she had never once seen a carriage taken in open daylight when the blackguard was nearby. The men had nearly reached the bridge's north end when Miller heard the horses, faintly at first, but growing louder with each passing moment. Ravia's eyes met Miller's, the same concern mirrored in each other's expression. This did not sound like the typical carriage, cautiously approaching the bridge to cross. Instead of the familiar crunch of the highway's gravel, they heard the harsh clattering of hoofbeats against stone. Both girls quickly redirected their attention downwards, looking through the foliage. The sounds were not coming from the high road, but from the canyon itself. The horses were coming from below the bridge. In an instant, Miller had knocked an arrow and drawn her bow. Go! Ravia was gone before the whisper had even left Miller's mouth. The young scout was already sliding down the bank below, racing towards the cave. There was no road that ran below the canyon. There was no reason for numerous horses to be approaching their cave. There was only one reasonable conclusion, and both girls had reached it instantly. The base had been compromised. This was a blackguard attack. The moment the horses came into view, Miller let loose her first arrow. She was surprised to see a carriage. She had expected cavalry. Before she even finished processing the thought, her second arrow was in the air, without a trail. It would be unthinkable for a carriage to traverse such rough terrain. Yet she watched as the wheels jolted over the rocky riverbed. A third arrow was now in flight, and there would be no need for a fourth. The driver slumped over just moments before the vehicle dipped into a small ditch, slamming into an embankment. The force of this sudden halt immediately shattered the front two wheels and catapulted the driver from his seat. Utterly confused now, Miller quickly glanced over her shoulder to see if any horses were also approaching from the rear. Down in the canyon, the entire horde of unholy hounds came spilling forth from the earth as if hell itself had suddenly sprung open. The group seemed even more bewildered than Miller, half asleep, and tripping over one another in a desperate attempt to engage an unseen enemy in combat. Miller could see Ravia among their number, the only one looking up at her. Her expression was chilling. There would be no need for a silent gesture to convey what they both now realized. They had made a mistake. The gang's chieftain, Jeffrey Heartslasher, led the others, cautiously approaching the crashed carriage like a suspicious fox would near a baited trap. There were no words exchanged as the group crept forward in a customary silence. A dozen or so paces in front of the wreckage lay a far-flung driver, an arrow protruding from his broken body, and beside him, a blood-stained effigy carved from stone. Miller was inconsolable. Jesper had always been her favorite. He had always shadowed her in the night, clinging to the hems of her every move, the way a child tails behind an older sibling. Tender-hearted, she had always called him, though deep down she had known that wasn't quite true. His appearance of gentleness concealed a raw, resilient durability that emerged in the most perilous of situations. He had been a flower among the nettles of this cave, but he still had thorns, honed by a grim past and 100 hands of misfortune. They buried him in the darkness, in the back of one of the larger cavern rooms. He was interred with a berry basket and a silk handkerchief that he had treasured. The mysterious effigy they had found beside him served as a distinguished gravestone, a marker that stood out as somewhat special among the rows of similar swords marking neighboring plots. No one spoke, not even in whispers. There was nothing to say. Miller awoke the next day to a thunderous shaking and rattling of the earth, a far cry from the playful nudging of the previous day. She strained to adjust her eyes, but the choking sting of stirred-up dust caused her to flinch. Panic was also in the air. The sounds of scurried footsteps and clattering feet filled the space around her. But even in alarm, the silence was louder. What was it that sounded so strange? Miller closed her eyes tight and used her feet to guide her along the passage. The whispers around her were getting louder, and intense voices could be heard ahead. Louder speech than she had ever spoken in the canyon. A growing dread grew as Miller approached the mouth of the cave, her eyes now open wide despite the dust.
Shouldn't it be day?
Miller felt a hand in the darkness, pulling at her. It was Ravia. The two embraced, and Miller did not need to see her to understand. Ravia placed two bent fingers against Miller's cheek, and with that touch against her face, Miller felt the same sinking feeling from the previous day. Two bent fingers confirmed what Miller had suspected. The girls had forgotten to relay one critical piece of information to the others. An hour or so later, the screams began. Blood-curdling cries of hopeless desperation. Captain Fodrick Lee of the Blackguard looked down from the ridge of the canyon to the collapsed entrance of the cave.
Ah.
He grinned.
Now they speak.
Holy. That's the end. Holy crap. That's a horrible freaking fate for everybody. Granted, they were bandits, but that was horrible. And we didn't really get any more information on who Mr. Ruroda might be. That's fine. That's fine. That's totally fine. That was a great read. Phenomenal, actually. I wonder, if I had a magnifying glass, I would definitely look at all the pictures and see if there are any other hints of things that we could glean. But wow, that was a long read, and it was great. That was phenomenal, actually. I really enjoyed that. So from the library, that's our only chance to make a bookshop is from the library. So let's try to do that. We cannot do that there. We don't have any rerolls. So unfortunately, I say we want items. So let's do commissary. And that'll also give us a reroll. I completely forgot that that's the blessing that we had. It's been a couple of hours. It's been a while since I first saw you. We're gonna get everything you got. Oh, we should save some money. Well, too late. I was gonna say we should save some money for either the showroom or the armory if we get one. Classrooms. We want classrooms. Ideally, classrooms that lead us to other rooms would be great. Would be really great. This is a little bit of everything, and it would also give us another reroll. Let's do it. And a shoe blow. Now if we can find a kennel, we'll be balling. Oh, okay. Broken lever is huge because there are many different uses for it. We can probably use it for the casino if we want one, and if we want to do some gamble. We can also use it to make a power sledgehammer, which would make it so we can break through walls. That'd be sick. And I think we could also use it to do something with the shovel. I don't actually remember what we do with the shovel. Oh, a jackhammer. It turns it into a jackhammer. Oh, I wonder. See, this is so interesting. So the X moves around. So now I'm wondering if the jackhammer will let you, like, if by any chance you're here, right? Normally with a shovel, you can't do that in that kind of surface. But maybe with a jackhammer, you can. I've never created one, so I would like to try and see. And this, we've seen that X so many times. Curious, man. Curious. Very curious. Conservatory. Adjust the rarity of your floor plans in your house. Yes, we will. We absolutely will. Put some salt on the turnip. Give me some money. And, oh, no red rooms, unfortunately. The conservatory, that's fine. Solarium. Honestly, I want to make the solarium rare because our goal is to start making all of the red rooms rare and unusual. So down the road, the solarium itself would end up being a debuff for us, right? It'll make it so the bad rooms that we don't want to see appear more often. So little by little, we're moving all red rooms that we hate into high rarity so we don't see them as often. I think this is a good plan. West Hall, West Hall Wing. Let's put a commonplace. Absolutely. And you, let's put you also commonplace. Yes. We like those. We like those. Or standard. You were rare. Let's put you standard. Standard is okay. Because you're expensive. That's the only reason I'm placing you as standard. I like it. I like it. I like this adjustment a lot. Okay. Anything else for us? No, we cannot pick up those shears. I think that's what they're called, right? They're called shears? Cutting shears? Our first classroom. Our first classroom will be a a dead end. I'm okay with that. We have to get this going. Get this started. The sooner the better. So for here, there's like the colors. We've been through this already. You give me an apple. I wonder if I should save that in case we get a laboratory and we have it every time you eat an apple, you do something. Another room that's for the class. Let's do it. Let's do it. Grade 2. What are you? Oh, a hall pass. This is if you have 2 adjacent hallways. Always drafted from an adjoining hallway. Do not cost. Cool. And you will not lose between 2 adjoining hallways. Yes. A corridor would be good. Yeah. Spare bedroom would be pretty good too. But we have free rerolls, so why don't we use those? I wish we could, but we cannot. Let's do a parlor. Yeah, and we're likely to get a west wing here. Now the question is, will we be stumped on this? Very likely. It's very likely. They're getting very tricksy with their logic puzzles. A box next to this box contains the gems. A box next to this box displays a false statement. That's a lie, because this is not a statement at all. But I'm wondering if this is also considered next. No. If this is a lie, and this is the truth, let's try the empty. Yeah. But right now, West Wing probably? No. Well, that'll end our run. So we can't do that. Give me more gems, please. Do we have a sledgehammer? No. But we'll need to actually use keys. We don't have any We haven't seen a single key yet. That's totally our fault, but such is life. What do we have? Bedroom. Oh man. Please and thanks. This is the most gems I think we've ever had. That's huge. That is huge. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now what do we get? If we here, remember we have 2 free reloads. I like a pantry. I'm okay with the pantry. Some money and food. Yo, so many apples. Imagine if we had an experiment that raised our allowance every time we ate one. Nope. Yes, we want keys. We do. We haven't seen a single one so far. We're clocking these pretty quickly now. That's good. So maybe not a passageway. I don't want a passageway. A corridor. Let's redraw, brother. We can make it work. We can make it work. What you got? We don't want dead ends here, so these look like diamondas. This is something else. 1 key. A pair of chests. Beautiful, beautiful. Apple? Yes. And then 4 door rooms are more common, but a lot of 4-door rooms are red rooms, and I don't like those. So part of me, like, let's not do it, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm feeling confident. Famous last words. Our first locked door. Rotunda's huge. Classroom's also huge. As much as I want the classroom, I feel like Rotunda is the way to go here, because it'll let us come down here and go up there. And down here would be quite useful. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. And we have forever gems. Why wouldn't I? Let's begin there. Actually, we could turn that around and have it be here and up here. Just realized what I did. Let's go down. It was correct the first time around, I think. Okay, I'm okay with this. Kind of perfect? Never mind. Not perfect at all. Wait, why can't we can rotate these? Because we're in the rotunda? Stop playing. Stop playing. Oh my god, that is so useful. That is so useful. I don't know if that's specifically because we're in the rotunda, because if you have the Dove Cove, you can also do that. Yo, give me that classroom. I think it's grade 3. Yeah. What you got? Buddy. Well, there's a showroom, and it will lead me straight. What am I buying in the showroom? Oh, I'm looking for an ornate compass, but that's hella expensive. And emerald bracelet, remind me, you do not have to pay the gem cost of floor plans. Huge. But we have so many gems right now, so we don't care. This is what I want. I could care less about a silver spoon. Let's try to aim for 50, as long as we don't get an armory. We're looking for a sledgehammer. So let's do it. We didn't get it. It's okay. That's okay. We now have more money than we did last time. What you got for me? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we like this. We like this. We like this a lot. This will lead me up. But I don't care. Because I'm hoping that this will let me get in there. Let's go. Classroom. Classrooms. We're trying for 8. This is grade 4. You are. Does anyone have anything here that I can take? Nope. I think this is the highest we've gone. Or maybe we've also done grade 5. Not sure. Yeah, I think we have done grade 5. We have not done anything after that. Passageway. Had a feeling. But this is a great place to have one. This is probably one of the best places to have one. Now we're gonna make our way west. Now the question is, ooh, none of these are key cards. Beautiful. If we get a garage, do we care? They're taking our gems like no other. But let's take advantage of this. Yeah. 1, 2. It's such a tricky little thing. I do want a classroomio. Heck yeah. Talk to me. Art class, right. This is the last room that we got to open last time. Ballroom, no. Well, nursery would be nice, but we're not hurting for steps. The bedroom closet. Still no sledgehammer. Okay, that looks like I could pick it up, but you clearly cannot. No, you love to see it. Ooh, security room. Dude, we're using our gems like no tomorrow. Do it. Because that helps if we ever draft a machinarium, I guess. No keycard, no keycard, no keycard. We don't need a dining room right now. We don't. Let's try for a classroom. Yeah. If only it was leading upstairs. If you have exactly 2 green rooms when drafting this room, double your gems. 1, 2. We do. Let's do a bunk room. And we'll get a +5. We'll get a +10. Because this counts as 2. Where's our other gem? Again, we have 1, 2. Oh shit, no. Because we have an aquarium, don't we? Yeah, the aquarium counts as 1. Whoops. I'm a fan of drawing rooms. Also, I'm a fan of offices. Let's do a drawing room. We want more control over the rooms that appear, and I want to start drafting even more classrooms. We need 3 more. 3 more. I've been marinating this chicken for the past like day and a half. Some Korean barbecue and gochujang sauce. Oh baby, I cannot wait. Sledgehammer. Does anyone have a sledgehammer? Or an armory where we can buy the Morning Star? That's another opportunity for us. Cool. Can we get either or? Oh my god. This is not good. This is not good. We could care less about a kitchen. We're looking for an armory or yeah, like, come on, use your rerolls, brother. Going up. And hopefully that'll let us. Whoa. Why creepy? Why are you often creepy? I don't like creepy enough. Next slide. Oh. We'll deal with that in a second. Can you spot the difference? What is this? History worksheet, multiple choice. Who was first crowned ruler of Fen Ares? Prince Learson, Destilus IV. Oh, we should know this. I think it was Prince Learson. Which city in Fen Ares is named after a historical figure? Horus? How many sons did the fourth king of Orindia have? 3. No? Okay, never mind. 60 and 6, oh my. How long did the War of the Fifth Era last? 12 years. 22 years. Which realm did not ally with Fen Ares during the war? Arch Ares. That's not true. Maybe Nuance? I don't know. What flag was forbidden to be flown at full staff after the war? The black flag. That is correct. So, I don't know the answer to all of this. I'm bad at remembering the history books. I think we had it in the history of Arindia. It would tell us everything. History is penned by the victors. Ain't that the truth? For a second, I almost left. I want to see what's this next slide. There's nothing there. Oh, can we see anything here? Okay. Whoa. Wow. This blimp is called a nuance. Okay, and then it repeats. You'd rather go to the drawing room for a free reroll. No, you're not. Thank goodness. Woof. Ballroom. Redraw, please. I want an armory. Dude, but another classroom, though? That would make it so we just need one more. Let's do it! That's our goal. That's our goal right now. We're trying to complete one of our many, like, overarching goals. Classroom puzzle. Paint and pint. So what is this test? Zach Craft. Algebra worksheet. 3 squared is 9. 3 squared. 9 minus 5 is 4. 7 minus 5 squared. It's not 4. Well, hold on. 7 minus 5 is 2. Squared. It is 4, so that is correct. This is division. So 3 plus 2? Divided by 2? Which one do you do first? Do you square this? Okay, so it's 4. 3. Wait. Square this is 4. 4 plus. Okay, so you square this and it's 4. 4 plus 3 is 7, so this should be 7. 2 squared is 4. 5 plus 5. Nah. I'll figure that out later if I have to. Advanced functions. We can figure that out. Are they going to give us decimals later? Oh no, I'm not excited about that. All right, let's go live. Oh no. Give us an armory or something, my friend. It'll give us keys. This will give us keys. Give me an armory. Give me an armory. Yeah, well, that's good, but give me an armory. 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 We haven't seen a rumpus room in quite a while, too. Armory. Armory. Yes, that's what I wanted. And I'm hoping that because we have this armory, oh, we're buying everything for sure. That's fine. Oh, a torch. We don't have catacombs. We don't have catacombs. But a torch would be useful for stuff. But this is what we want. We want a morning star. Yes, please. because it functions as a sledgehammer. We want you. Yes, please. Thanks. And then we'll just grab you. Because we can... Wait. Hold on. Can light candles and ignite fuses. Yo, in the trader post, there's dynamite. What if we use the dynamite? If we get a trading post and we end up... That's kind of wild. I'm going to leave that there because I don't see a reason to use it right now. But that's kind of wild. Are you... First, let's check to see if you're locked. If you are, we're not going to... Okay, cool. No keys. No keys, but we have a chance to buy the ornate... Oh, baby. Yes. That's what I want. We're 3 away also from being able to rotate rooms. So, let's go back. 2 chests. Money. Keys. A key. Nice. 62 gold. Dude, we're rolling. Let's get this. While drafting, you may rotate the first 3 floor plans you draw. Have a great day. Let's not use a special key. Not yet. Secret passes do 12 rerolls. Heck yeah. Give it to me. The final classroom. I say we do it. I want to know. Grade 8. Aragian affix pairings. What? Spine and pine. You got... What? Aragian worksheet. Translate the following phrases. Hello, can you teach me a new word? Ajlor ul teach nevlor. What? You're teaching us a different language. I'm gonna just take pictures of these and focus on figuring that out when I'm not recording. Ajlor ul teach everyone. No one gets a perfect score, huh? You should remember the Aragian terms for these. D+. 5 out of 6. Okay. Maurice Jacobs. Okay, I already did this one. Small class. Aragian affix pairings. First, small toward new the start of L. When paired with a verb can mean I will or I won't. Similar to ol and lu. So, in the foyer, there was a thing or a statue that mentioned or that had a weird thing, and I thought it was French. I'm curious if I could figure out what that says now that I have this. Aragian vocabulary. Holy. Early Aragian did not use any verbs, so today the rare usage of verbs are comprised almost entirely of loan words and are mainly used to describe physical actions. Lor, hu, tre, yait, lune, dao, nai, are. Okay. I'm sure that'll prove useful, so you are now on my phone. We did it. All 8 classrooms. What that gave us, I don't know. Foreign language class. Ashlor, Olgo, Nevdao, learn Aragian. Today. Special keying, can I use the secret garden one? Nope. I can only use that on a corner. I don't like this. Ooh. Yeah. Let's do that. Thank you, Night Shield. Oh, yeah, well, we don't have a key card, so we can't go that way. That'll probably require a key, but let's see. That does not. Okay. Okay. Well, we can make a secret garden, and the secret garden will have an exit here, but the secret garden will also open the antechamber up for us. Good. It's only on the east side, eh? Oh, here goes our final key. This would be supremely useful. So if we do a secret passage, we can lead us to something. Yikes. I'm gonna try to do a hallway. Another hallway. But will the hallway... Let's find out. The hallway shouldn't cost because this is brown. So the hallway should not cost gems due to us getting the hall pass. Yes. Blood horror. You are the worst game in the world. I wonder. Probably not, but out of curiosity, I want to see if there's anything in this classroom. Now that we've unlocked all 8 classrooms. The schoolhouse. Oh, there's a thing here. Give me a key. Oh my god, you gave me a key. Oh my god, you gave me a key. You suck. You suck, dude. Now I gotta make all my way back. We could always go to Blackbridge Grotto whenever we want. Alright. 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 Can we use this key here? Thank you. Thank you. Hallway doors are always unlocked. That's huge. That's huge. That's huge for me. It's big huge for me. So this lets me go this way. And it lets me continue. So you... No, where's the lady? There she is. Je Ari Jenna. Ari is not one of the things. Je... No, it's E-L-A. No, I guess not. Laboratory. Chapel. Bedroom. I like bedroom. Yeah, actually, I don't care. The losing the money won't hurt. But I was thinking, like, if you gave me a dining room, that'd be sick. Whatever. It is what it is. Please don't be loud. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Please don't be locked. Can't tell you how much I hate you. But at least this opens. Hey, this is extremely helpful. Keys? I wish I could break you or try to break you. Keys? No. Cool. Cool. That's cool. Down. Please don't be locked. Thank God. Greater chance of finding green rooms. Don't care. Monthly gift shop. Mount Holly gift shop. I said monthly. No. Don't care about these at all. But this will let me go to the left. And it'll give me another reroll for what it's worth. Maybe. Okay. Do you have any keys for sale? What the heck is this? Oh, is that because of the book? No one would dare open it. A permanent addition to the shrine. What the hell is the shrine? Is that the blessing place? I think so. Huh. And of course it costs 13. Yo, we're gonna try to buy that if we can. Oh, fuck. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Great hall. Everything is unlocked. Let's do it. Because of the foyer. Please give me a key. No. Please give me a key. No. We've unlocked both ways there. And we can get there. We just need steps and keys. No. Yo, give me a dining room, please. Could you? Could you potentially give me a dining room? I would like that. So much. Let's not rotate. Let's redraw. We get 3. Give me a dining room. No. Give me a dining room. No. Wait. Security. We have a security room. We can make that. We can make this. The things that have a key card not require key cards. It keeps us alive for a little bit and gives us a chance to maybe get a damn dining room. Yo, I need a dining room so bad. Key? I love you so much. More? Another key? Are you? Oh, it is another key. Let's go. Unlocked. Holy. I think the shrine is like where we get the blessings. Oh, I'm interested in what happens. Hook me up, please. Yo, give me a dining room, please. Our final reroll. But this is a billiards room, and billiards rooms can give me keys. I just have to break my brain. For a second, I thought this was a parlor room. All right, let's do it. How complicated are you going to get? 20 plus 3 is 23. Minus 3 is 20. Times 3. 20, 40, 60. Divided by 6 is 10. All right. 2 times 2 is 4. But before you do that, you square. So 4 times 2 is 8. That's my assumption. 8. Divided by 4 is 2. Divided by 1 is 2. Yo, let's go. 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 squared is 81. And then, right, 5, 9, 9 squared, 81. And then we're here. So 81 minus 20 is 61. 61 minus 1 is 60. Divided by 10 is 6. 6. Beautiful keys, please. Oh my god, yes. Yes, we're still alive. We're just crawling out of the grave, essentially. Okay. Okay, please give me dining room. That's the last thing I need to stay alive. Or a kitchen. Or a kitchen. Uh-huh. A kitchen will also absolutely work. And add morning room to today's draft pool. Club sandwich. Banana. Give me club sandwich. Yes. Give me a banana. Yes. Give me another banana. Yes. One more banana. Yes. Thank you. Banana with salt. Beautiful. Delicious. Now we have 2 rooms and we have the keys for them. And one of them is a... Did we turn off the things? I hope we did. I do hope we did. All right. Let's do it. We still need to make our way back to open up the antechamber, or the 46, room 46. But let's not concern ourselves with that right now at this exact moment. Would you like to give me a dining room? Let's go. Mailroom. If only we can get that letter delivered here. That mysterious letter. Where it's an experiment and we get a letter signed. Wait. Simon. My name is Randolph Moore. I am the lead lab technician at Cinca, and I have worked here at Mount Holly for over a decade. I was thrilled to discover you have found our humble lab and have begun to run some experiments of your own. I tend to keep an eye on the small spikes in radiation levels on the estate, as it's one of the only ways I can monitor your progress from the outside. All offsite connections to the terminal network have been disabled during your stay. There has been much speculation among the staff about the progress you've been making in the house, and they were all quite excited when I reported that you have been successfully running experiments. I wanted to write to you to let you know that even though you may not see us, we are rooting for you. Best of luck on the experiments, and if you'll like, I'll continue sending letters with some helpful tips for you. Absolutely. There are different ones! So every time we send a letter, it'll be a completely different thing. Cool. Hey Simon, it's Randolph again. In my last letter, I mentioned the terminal network, but it completely slipped my mind to give you the network password so that you can log into it. Even with all the on-site connections disabled, you should still be able to use the local network to access different house-based functions from any terminal regardless of where it is located on the estate, which you will likely find useful. Bruh, I found this 30 years ago, but thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you sending that to me, but now I know they're all going to be there. That's good to know, and they're saved. So I don't have to find the mailroom that exact day. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Alright, this is going to be the first time we complete everything. Granted, if we can even make it back. We went the wrong way. If we can even make it back after finding the archive. Not the archive. You know what I mean. Room 46. Vault Boudoir or locksmith. We want steps. Anything that'll give us steps. For Christ's sakes, give us a dining room. Yeah, we'll give us steps. Please give us a dining room. Broad whore. I mean, if we can ask for a letter, that'd be great, but might as well. We'll take it. We're gonna lose it all, but we'll take it. What the heck? What's this? Huh? Rank 9. Oh, the full house trophy. Nice! For drafting a room in every single open slot of your house, trophies earned will be permanently added to the trophy room in recognition of exceptional architectural planning. Nice. Nice. I wonder if we get extra gems for every trophy that we have there. Now the keys are irrelevant. They're going to give me a crap ton. Thanks. Ooh, treasure map. We know where it is. It's going to be in the 6th. Oh, no, it's not. It's usually here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can we make it there on our way back? It'll just give us money. We don't care about money other than, buying out the showroom, which will give us another trophy. There we go. This looks like the spot. Give me all of your money. Mount Holly's coffers. Dude, what a successful run. 25 and 3 gems. That's not as much as I thought it would be. I guess we will not be able to. Huh. Alright. So we're going down through the flame area. Oh, we should go to the aquarium so we can get +5. If we haven't already. Oh, apple. Apple? Trying to peek in. All right, 32 should hopefully be enough to let us run our little gauntlet. Let's find out. So let's remember, we go in through the flame elevator. Yes? Okay. Would you like to be turned on? I guess there's no point in doing that, right? Yeah, what would be the point if you're already open? Don't care about that. We come over here and take the boat to the other side. Yeah. Lead me. So you really can't go through there. I got debated with the swim trunks, but like the way that this is moving, right? It's so you can see that hole. Why wouldn't you be able to take the boat there? Okay, and you should be in the appropriate position for me to make this happen. I don't think we're gonna have enough steps. Wait, is there a banana here? That'd be kind of gross, right? Because no one has been down here for ages. Would there be a way, man, if I had better planning? I would have turned this around. No, but there's no way to make that still attached. I was going to say come up through the foundation, but we don't have a key card. So we wouldn't be able to anyway. Never mind. Can we make it back in less than 24 steps? I doubt it. I'm going to do my best. I wish one of these doors would open. It would make sense that this is the sanctum, but and you use a sanctum key for that's another mystery. What in the God's green hell is the sanctum? Where do you open it? Where do you use that key? I don't know. 6. We did it. 5. Boom. We did it. Can we actually go in this time? Oh my god, we can. The first time in here. 4. Jones, that's me. That's new. That's a new symbol. What can we learn here? The crown of the blueprints. The former ruby crown of Orinda Aries, recently set with freshly cut sapphires. The first time you draw a red room while drafting, you may remove it from today's pool. If you do, gain 1 gem and redraw floor plans. Well, I mean, it's a bit too late for that. Another sanctum key. What? The first key found here on the furthest rank. The second locked tight in the vault of a bank. The third is up high among all the clocks. And the fourth down below, beneath all the docks. The fifth key is held by a king on his throne. The sixth in a station left by one of your own. The seventh is major, if you draft it quite late. The last key is waiting, behind the last door of 8. So this is a sanctum. But I could have sworn I brought one of those keys here. That's wild, and it didn't open anything. Well, I'm gonna take a picture of this phone because it's awesome. Now we know we have another reason to reach this room. Marigold. Mama. What the heck is this? 8 realms, 8 months. Huh? Interesting. I won't be able to do this right. Wait, there was in one of the classrooms, there was like a geography and it listed some things, but I don't know. I don't exactly know what the order might have been. It was the order of conquests? I don't know. 8 realms in 8 months. But these are just having another piece of the puzzle is great. Give me more information. A rose or an apple and a red little crock. What? Oh, give me more. Give me more.
This secret room is not as secure as you thought. We have your letters. 8 letters. 8 payments. 100 gold. Instructions to follow.
Ah, this is the letter that X sent. That could have been misconstrued, I guess, as a thinly veiled threat to Simon, but I don't read it as that. So they stole the letters. Sinclair. When you were very young, huh? Wow. I can't believe we actually got to make it in here. That's sick. Epson. Yo. This is the most, this is literally the most complete you can make the house. Now we have a reason to have sanctum keys. Interesting. I swear to you that I've tried clicking the door when we had the sanctum key. Or maybe I didn't. This game is gaslighting me, man.